Okay, this is a dream that I had last night, and I feel like I'll share it on YouTube. The first part of the dream has to do with me going, basically, I'm working at a supermarket with a group of other people, and we basically do odds and end jobs besides what we do at the supermarket itself. And the owner of the supermarket, he does cleaning and maintenance for people's homes. So we go to this guy's house, who, by the way, I know him from church, and we have to mop his entire house because he has like wooden floors in his house. And in the process of doing this, apparently one or some other people in the group, we forget to do one of the rooms. And I think it was just sort of like a misunderstanding. And so he gets ticked off at the manager. And anyway, we, really it's me. I'm responsible apparently, because if you know what scourging means, it basically means they take like a whip, and it's very symbolic to how the Muslims treat people who have done crimes. They whip you on the back with this whip, and he intended to do that to me because I was not going to apologize for making the mistake about, what we were mopping. And so anyway, he wanted me to sign a confession that I had forgot to do one of these rooms. And the assumption made at this point is that I'm not even in America. I'm actually in some sort of Muslim country. And so I'm thinking about it, and I really couldn't figure out exactly what I should say in this apology, in this statement. So anyway, eventually, well, actually, he does scourge me once, and then one of the people in my Bible group, he's the leader, he intervenes and talks to the friend from the group and says, maybe we should just find some other way to resolve this. So after that point, the story doesn't change, but it's sort of like we go into hiding, at least I do, and the Bible leader, he takes me and a few other people, and the feeling is we're trying to leave the country. We're trying to flee from authorities, because I knew what was going to probably inevitably be next. They would come after me with the intention, because the Islamic belief is that if you do something wrong, they just decapitate you, and first they torture you. And this is a really interesting part of the end of my story, is that we get into this really, really small village, and we're just basically trying to figure out how long can we stick around here before we can flee out of the country, we can get across the border. And we meet up with, these young children who are definitely malnutrition. They're starving, but we are too, because we don't have any real way to buy food now that we're not working any place. And eventually we come up with a plan that we're gonna set off a nuclear device here in this small town. We're gonna hide it so people can't find where it is. And so we find this old cardboard box in this old shed, and one of the people in the group apparently is an atomic scientist, because she's able to put together all of the different things that's needed, and she arms it, and there is a dog right there next to where all this is happening. And apparently disease and other kinds of problems are going on in this Muslim country, because the dog has gone insane, or it's gone mad. And just petting it, it gets really agitated or upset, and it all has to do with, its mental capacity too. And she can't take it with her because she knows the dog would obviously turn on everybody. So she sets up the bomb, and basically I woke up before the bomb went off. But the assumption was we were setting up the bomb to kind of like annihilate or eliminate either whatever the diseases that are in this part of the country are that it's affecting everybody. You know, it's killing the children, it's killing the adults, and making the animals go crazy. And as a part of the earlier part of my dream, I can also remember the fact that it was brought up about the fact that my sister was burned to death, and this man who owned the house was Muslim too, and he felt that had a symbolic gesture to the fact that we had suffered other ways besides just that he was going to scourge me with this whip. That, you know, this could have been a part of the Muslim belief that, you know, you've had mitigating circumstances in your life and that you've suffered more than most people. And I thought that was an interesting part of this story, that when I mentioned that to him, it kind of made this, you know, the really severeness of this act of not having performed my duty as a visitor in their home, doing this mopping performance, was somewhat less vile. It was less horrible for these Islamics that were living in the house to say that, you know, you're an infidel beyond words because of what you did to us. And I felt like I should share that on YouTube. So thanks again for watching this video today, and it's completely unedited. I'm not cutting anything out of this video, just so you guys can hear it from start to finish of what it was about. So I appreciate it.
Though this dream was shared in 2015, much of it still is fresh in my mind that I wanted to tell you as much as I remembered about it. The fact that children were suffering in Aleppo during that time when ISIS began its campaign of exterminating people throughout Aleppo, Damascus, and all Syria itself. They killed mostly Christians, but many innocent civilians were also murdered for not renouncing their beliefs to ISIS. Though you saw military soldiers in these scenes, they meant more than just United States officers but Syrian rebels who fought against ISIS during their occupation of Syria. Children still suffer like little Umran throughout Syria today. Men and women also are tortured by ISIS, hoping this will help them gain more support from the world, but we know what they do and it's all for nothing now. Aleppo has rebuilt its city and its people are now happy, but for how long will the peace last when ISIS still gets help from other factions in the Middle East like the Taliban and Al-Qaeda? Hezbollah continues attacking in Israel and Iraq and even Afghanistan. Suffering is everywhere. We must pray for them every day, that God will intervene and stop the senseless murder of children and adults. This was another reason for this video, to bring the suffering that continues to your attention in the hopes that you will begin a daily prayer of supplication to God for their deliverance from the atrocities that go on everywhere in the Middle East today. Please remember Umran and the children of the Middle East in your prayers, as I do.
Go, I say go away. You bother me.